not easy moving a bike when you've got diarrhea. In fact, it's fucking impossible. Oh, fucking hell. I think I'm ready to die now. That's fucking miserable. Got a serious sweat on all I've done is move a bike from my driveway. Oh, don't feel good at all. Alright, so basically, I don't know if this is coming before or after the video about my son, but either way, if it's before, we're still waiting on the information. If it's after, we've had the information, but at the time of recording, we haven't had the information yet. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to need to replace my helmet and camera soon. The camera is technically, I've had the camera, the Drift, longer than I've had the bike. And there's one thing that's really annoying me at the moment, is that audio tick. And the mic's starting to show its age, the connection's starting to show its age. Because the audio is shit, it's just gone downhill completely, and there's only so much you can do with an editor. And there's only so much I'm willing to be bothered to do. Pigeons. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It's going downhill, but when you consider it's 3 years old, maybe a little bit older, can't be too pissy about it. I mean, it still works, just not as good as I'd like. And considering they're releasing Drift S, Stealths, and God knows what else, which have got 1080p, 60 FPS, plus 4K is now a thing. I've got to catch up with the times. This only does 1080 at 30 FPS, and that was kind of the best at the time, sort of thing. So it's overdue for a replacement. The lid as well, yeah. The lid's had a few bumps along the way when I've fallen off. What I intend to do this time is mount the camera on the side, maybe. It's quite a popular choice, so I might have a look at doing that. I'll see. I've got to wait and see and add things up and see where things are going out in the other areas of my life first. But you know, it's on the cards. Subject number 2. Pardon me. Oh, I really don't feel well today. Subject number 2 was the why haven't I just bought a bike on finance, and I'll give you an example of why. Basically, I went on the Harley Davidson website. I went on the 2015 to 2014 Dyna Fat Bob. It's an incredibly beautiful looking machine, and I would absolutely love one. I ain't being funny, but they're a little bit overpriced in my opinion. You know, like fucking 11.5 grand starting price, and that's before you add, you know, the mirrors you want and whatever and whatnot. So they're a tad expensive. And a lot of people have said to me, "Oh Dan, you've got good credit. Why haven't you just gone down and got finance on one?" And I'll tell you for why. Basically, I noticed that almost all new cars and new bikes these days, for the last 4 or 5 years, have all had limited mileage clauses on the purchase agreement. So basically, you're agreeing with the seller that you will only use the bike for 2,000 miles a year, or whatever you agree with them, so that in the event they have to resell it, they can sell it with X amount of miles on it. It makes sense, I get it. I do get why they do that. You know, it helps the resale value. The problem is, I'm very much somebody who believes in having a bike and riding it. It's not a fucking ornament to me. It's an actual, you know, I'm going to ride. And to be told by the person I'm giving a load of money to that I can't use the bike as much as I want, that's not how I roll. You know, I'm buying the bike to have freedom, not to be restricted. And when you consider it, you're talking about 11.5 grand, and then after the finance deal's done and you've paid your deposit of £2,500 to £3,500, you've paid over 3 years and it's something like £100 to £200 a month, maybe even more. And then you've got to pay the last payment up front, which is nearly like 6 grand or whatever it ends up being, because of the interest and everything. You know, you're paying out a fuck ton of money, upward of 15, 16 grand in some cases for a motorcycle. And that's a tad excessive in my opinion, especially for a machine that they're not going to let you ride as often as you want to, which is a true shit kicker. You know, it's very expensive. I believe in getting the most bang for my buck, or pound, should I say, because this bike cost me £1,700 and I have raped the absolute dog shit out of it. You know, there's been no moment where it's had a lot of rest except when it was broken, and even then I still used it a little. You know, I've definitely had my money's worth out of this bike, because it's the way you got to be in life. You can't be. I couldn't be one of these people who puts a bike on in a garage and never uses it and polishes it up every weekend. If I paid for the fucking thing, I'm going to use the shit out of it. I'm going to make sure by the time that thing finally gives up or I sell it on, it has definitely given me every fucking penny I put into it back in enjoyment. But anyway, so yeah, I don't like being tied down with finance deals anyway, because you're sort of contractually obligated, you know. And they do have this thing where they say you are the registered keeper, you are not the owner. So at any point the manufacturer can just turn around and say, actually, we're having the bike back now. Legally speaking, they can. It's just the way it is. It's not fair, it's not right, but that's the way it goes. Yeah, so that's just why I've never bothered with it, really. If I own a bike, I want to own it. Oh, red light jump. You know, if I buy a bike, I want to fucking buy a bike. I want to own the bastard. I don't want to be told by a dealership what I can and can't do with the fucking thing. An example of how shit my audio is. This is what it sounds like when you're doing over 50. Fuck off, pigeon! My eyes are slightly open, which I sometimes have to have in hot weather. I'm just over 50 mile an hour. It sounds fucking awful. I know when I'm doing the editing, it's just going to sound like absolute fucking garbage, and I'm going to want to discard the entire file because of it. So it's time to renew equipment. I found it's not too bad at 40-ish, but anything above 40 and you start getting into the realms of just like horrible additional audio and lots of boom and that classic drift crack every couple of seconds, which I really can't be fucked editing out. Especially how I feel today. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, I don't mean to be picking on Harley. They were literally the first example that stuck in my mind, because they're the first ones I looked up. Obviously, being the V-twin bitch that I am, I just looked them up first. But every dealership's the same these days. You got Bill Smith's, you got Yamaha Wigan or whatever it was called. You know, everywhere I look, every trader these days is running that same policy and the same cars. It's what's putting a load of people I know off buying new, because they just simply can't afford to be told you can't do that to the car, you can't use the car on that day, you can't do this mileage. I mean, they're taking the piss. You're buying the fucking car, for Christ's sake. You're giving them thousands of pounds and they're telling you what you can and can't do. And they wonder why they can't sell fucking cars. I think it's blatantly fucking obvious. You can't sell cars because you're telling people not to use the bastards. Duh, stupid cunt. But yeah, no, I had a chat with somebody recently and he was saying, oh, I really want to upgrade to the latest Skoda. It's got one of them little ones, it's got no tax and none of this, none of that. You know, it's one of them. But he won't buy a new one because they've basically said, oh, he's restricted to X amount of thousand miles a year. And unfortunately, it's a shared car between him and his missus. So of course, it's going to rack up mileage. So he's like, well, no, I'm not upgrading if you're going to fucking restrict me. Piss off. And I've got to say, I'm on his level. I mean, I won't buy a motorcycle if I'm going to be told I can only do 2,000 miles a year, which was, again, it's a roundhouse estimate from the Harley Davidson website. I mean, I'm sure you can negotiate with them and say, look, no, I actually want to do more mileage, and they'll say, oh, go on then. But maybe you can't. I mean, I was like on the verge a couple of months back of just walking straight into Harley Davidson and saying, can I have a test ride? Can I have a look at that? Can I have a look at this? But then as soon as I saw that limited mileage clause, it instantly killed my erection, and I just stopped what I was doing. I was like, no, fuck off. You can't modify the bike, you can't change the bike, anything that's done to the bike has to be done by them. I don't fucking need that shit. I mean, Chester Harley Davidson's in the fucking port, for Christ's sake. That's 15-20 minutes ride away. Yeah, that's fucking great. Like, I want to be riding 15-20 minutes each way just to get the bike fixed by you expensive cunts. Nope, not JPEG. I think I'll stick to second-hand bikes that I actually will fucking own, technically. Well, as far as the law is concerned. Oh, it's busy. God, I do need these brakes sorting out soon. Hello. Hello. You smell hot, baby. Baby, you so hot. You make me so hot now. I don't like putting it over here because I know some cunt will come along and knock it over or some shit. But I don't have a lot of fucking choice in the matter, do I? Oh man, his chain needs so much lube. It kills me when I see people with bikes like that. You know, the chain's not lubed and they obviously don't care, so you're just like, oh, you bastards. I don't like it.